Podketeers.
I feel like 10 years later, like in my head, like I've never said this before, like recording an episode, but in my head, I have this weird, like, have you ever seen like a sci-fi film where memories begin to flood people and they begin to like remember stuff? Like every time we record an episode, in my head, I hear 3 versions of the intro before we start. And it happens like a split second in my brain, right? Andrew, are you putting on a sports coat?
Maybe. It's a fancy occasion.
I love it.
I had to get dressed up. I was going to wear a tux, but all I have is the jacket I wear when I have my Sala costume. So there we go. Happy.
I will say that is one of the benefits of being in an air-conditioned room. This room is so hot. I am already baking in just a t-shirt. One of the new t-shirts coming to podketeers.com/gear, the new name tag shirt. It's one of the new t-shirts that we're going to be...
Are we showing shirts? Like, they could get, Dole
or the new Dole Whip shirt. That's going to be
season.
Coming soon. Yeah,
I don't have a new shirt. This is my old shirt. This is the old one.
Yeah, and like in my head, I hear like it's a split second because I'll talk about it more as the episode progresses, but I'm just like thankful, for all the time I've been able to do this with so many people, and I've had so many opportunities to share like magical moments either through a recording or in the parks or whatever the case was, right? And over 10 years, it's been such a cool ride so far. It's I'll keep talking in a bit, but I wish I could have dressed up a little bit. I wish I could have put on a sports coat or a tuxedo. Maybe I should have gotten a tuxedo shirt.
That's if we would have planned. If we would have planned this ahead of time, we all could have got tuxedo shirts.
I mean,
but
and I'm not gonna lie, it would have been the only time I wore it. I would have wore it.
We're bad at planning. Somewhere I have that Ghost Host shirt where it looks like the butler uniform. I don't know where it is.
Oh, nice. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I want to say we're bad at planning, but we've also been ridiculously busy the last several months. And for me, the last few weeks, the FGP Squad knows some of the hijinks I've been up to recently. And, I've been, designing and working on the new anniversary stickers. The FGP Squad saw the other version of what's potentially coming of this design. Pretty excited about that. We have new buttons that we're going to be sending out to people. The new celebrating 10 years of podcasting buttons. Super happy about those. I'm hoping that we can get the sticker sheets done because I wanted to do a couple of sticker sheets. And we have the new shirt designs that are going to be coming out. So, this is probably going to be one of those Disney things. Like most people will be like, oh, hey, yay, 10 years, celebrate one episode. No. We're going Disney style on this one. We're going a whole year. We're going to celebrate the whole year on this one. So every month we're going to try to send out some cool stuff to people. We're going to do some random giveaways. If you were listening to the last episode, I have access to something that's going to allow me to make some cool stuff for people, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm trying to make magic, at least I'm hoping. And I'm hoping that magic also helps us with some of the Teamboat Willie stuff, because we have some Teamboat Willie events that are coming up. We're going to be raising money to fight cancer, and that's coming up. I don't know if we're going to do anything for Chalk Walk this year, because Chalk Walk's like a month away, I think. And we could... Well, they changed the date. Also, it was it's like 2 months earlier, I think. It's like a month or two earlier than it normally is. Why they want to do it in the middle of the summer when it's ridiculously hot, I don't know, but they are. And because of that, I wasn't ready, especially with all the other planning that we've been doing. But you can only do so much. Still full-time dad, still full-time family, full-time job.
What?
You know, so
Just kidding.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. All that stuff that comes along with it. So, Andrew, since you put on the sports coat,
Yeah.
I'll let you say stuff now.
What I say stuff. Okay. Before I say stuff, I have a thing to share.
Oh.
And I told Heyzen I had something to share, and Heyzen, I have multiple things to share.
That
so-
wasn't part of the deal.
Well,
Is this gonna make me cry?
I don't know.
Is that what you're aiming for? What? Let's be honest here. Are you aiming
I
to make me
mean,
cry? Is this like
Lay.
Sarah McLachlan?
You
Should
know
I
what?
break the
We'll talk
tissues
about
out?
it later, but I'm gonna.
We'll cry about it. We talk about it later.
You know, you brought up the Podketeers magic, and so I have a video here in setting in the thing here. I don't know how to get it up there.
Oh,
but
I will do that.
You have to put it up.
Okay.
So once this video is up, that's you. That's not
that's
it.
me. Okay, hold on.
Hey there, Podketeers. FGP Squad member Brian here. Heyzen, thank you. 10 years, who would have thought? 10 years, you'll still be doing the same thing you're doing right now. From beers cheers to Mickey ears, or bacon cheers to Mickey ears, to passing on the magic. That's what you've been doing for us all this time. Great, giving us great magic. From park history, ride history, great interviews with Bob Gurr and Wally Crump and others, to just tomfoolery. That's what it is. You guys are tomfooleryness. All great fun, all great listens. I can remember back in the day putting on this little program here with headphones on, remodeling the house, and just enjoying that magic. Thank you for that. It's been a great knowing you, seeing you, hearing you. And when I say seeing you, a couple times that we met at the park. One for a giveaway. Two, one rare time or a couple rare times at Javier trying to sneak away and not get a picture taken with us fans, because he said like, no, I'm trying to avoid you guys. I'm not going to take a picture with you all laughing. And me going to a park one day, seeing you guys, and then I was like trying to be all sneaky behind them and go saying, gotcha! Click. And of course, back in those days, photos, not like these iPhones how they are now, where it focuses and try to give you the best picture possible, or even live pictures. You got what you got. Just like the old cameras of old with the film. You got what you got, and that's exactly what I got. A blurry picture of Javier going, exactly like that, So, thank you for those great memories and all the other memories that you've given us all. Great magic, like I said before. And all your great supporting cast. Mel, Larry, Andrew, DJ AJ, Gavin, thank you all very much. We all appreciate the magic you've given us every single week, even when you're too sick to talk right now. Should be drinking some tea. But I gotta give the magic to you guys. Somebody take over a little bit with your moonlight voice. It should be actually
Hey, he's a Doctor Strange fan.
Thank you for the magic. You're awesome. Hopefully another 10 more years and you get another silly, zany video from me and beyond. Thank you, my friend. Love, respect. Continue on the great work.
Oh, man.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Brian, thank you so much.
FGP member Brian.
That means
send
a lot.
it in a nice video
you,
for
Brian.
a 10th anniversary.
It's funny, when we first started, we had a lot of let me see if I can bring some of these up, but we had like all these things that we tried to do in the park. Like we had achievements that you could get. Like some of the achievements were, I listened to 200 episodes. Like here, I'll show you. This was like, oh, I can't share it here. Hold on. It was like, I listened to 200 episodes, or I took a picture with, Heyzen or with Mario or with Javier. It was achievement unlocked, drank bacon soda. It was like all these like weird things that we would do when we were, okay, so here's one of them. I found the images. Just give me a second here to bring them up. So this was one of them. It was when we did the first 100 episodes. This was one of the first achievements that you could get. And so we would send these out to listeners that would hashtag us, or we made these available on the website to download. And whenever you would achieve the first 100 or whatever, you could just post it. And I mean, this was honor system, right? Like we couldn't verify whether somebody heard 100 episodes. They probably heard 20, which was also an achievement, by the way. Yeah. This was the first 20 episodes achievement. This is kind of where it started. It was kind of like a joke. And then we had one for achievement unlocked, drank bacon soda.
Oh, and that was the rage.
This is like the Xbox achievements, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the idea.
You want to see a blast from the past? And
sure.
I want to say this. Oh, actually, what was this one? Oh, this was when we were getting ready to unlock the next achievement. This is how we were teasing it. So, we're trying to be all cool and stuff.
That is cool.
Coming soon.
Coming soon, exactly.
It's still coming soon. Don't worry.
That one's still coming. One day, it'll be there.
523 episode listen. That's the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know when this is from. I'm going to let Mel fill this in because I try to look at the created date on here, and it looks like it's sometime around January 2015. But this is a blast from the past.
That's New Year's Eve. That is New Year's Eve, yes. The funniest thing is I met Mario on New Year's Eve, and I met Jill on New Year's Eve.
Oh, really?
Years apart, yeah.
That's so cool.
I remember that.
That is so cool. I'm looking through some of these. I haven't seen these in quite some time. We used to have also this thing called Backtrack, where we used to share like some of our favorite songs, and each one of us would drop like 2 or 3 songs that were not Disney related. Just we were all music fans, and we were just like dropping like random music from time to time. And I mean, I'll try to look through some of the other stuff that's in here, but
that's a throwback,
right?
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking through some of this stuff, and I'm trying to find some of the others that we did. But Brian, thank you so much. I mean, it means a lot. Brian's been with us since the beginning. He's been listening, and he's been such a huge supporter of us. Whenever he could, he would join us for events and, would meet up in the park. The first time I got a chance to meet him, I met him and his wife and his son at the time. And it's just nicest guy. It was just so cool meeting them. And the reason I brought up the achievements was because one of the achievements that we eventually put out there were a picture with me, a picture with Mario, and a picture with Javier. And then there was a fourth one where if you got all 3 of us, you got a picture with the Podketeers. So if you got one with all of us, you also had an achievement. We should bring those back. I feel like those were fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a little bit harder to get now, but,
I mean, it's different. I mean, it has been a little harder for me to get to the parks recently.
In general is fun.
But the achievements, maybe we can come up with achievements.
We can put them on Discord.
Online.
There's probably achievements you can do on Discord. I don't know.
We could do that. Yeah. You said you had multiple things to share.
Oh, yes, I do. Here's another one on deck for you if you want to.
Okay.
If you want to pull this one up.
Hey Podketeers, hey Fairy Godparents Squad, it's Jill. Just want to wish you a happy 10 years on this anniversary. Heyzen, you made this happen 10 years ago. Here's to 10 more with Melissa, Andrew, the whole Fairy Godparents Squad. Here's to Bacon, Cheers, and Mickey Ears.
Oh, gee, sure.
Can I? Okay, listen. This is actually, first of all, Jill, thank you so much. This is actually like super special because the shirt that Jill is wearing is a one-of-the-kind shirt.
Oh.
Okay? At the time, our sign-off, like now our sign-off is, what it is, but back then it was here's to beers, cheers, and Mickey ears. And I remember Jill coming to me and saying, like, what if I don't drink beer? Like, can we just make like a bacon shirt? Can we have one with like bacon involved? And I was like, sure, I'll make that one for you. And I made one shirt where the beer was replaced with bacon. And Jill is the only person in the world to own that shirt. So that, that's awesome. I can't believe she still has that. That, Jill and Mel, I've talked about this before. I've said I've probably told this story, but Jill, Mel, and I used to do these art walks together, and on the art walks, we would always share Disney stories, and we'd talk about the parks, and we would talk about like our favorite attractions, and we would always
geek out
long hours of conversations. Like people would be done cleaning up their stuff and we would still be hanging out at the end for an extra hour, packed cars, talking about stuff. And before the podcast even launched, a year or two before, I remember just thinking like, man, I love because at the time I was driving 50 miles one way to get to work. Mm-hmm. And so 100 miles in the car daily, minimum of 3 hours in traffic on a good day. Bad days, I was like in traffic for like 6 hours. And so I grew to love satellite radio at first, and then I kind of became this huge fan of podcasts. Excuse me. And I was a big fan of a lot of the Disney podcasts at the time. I would listen to Lou Mangello. I would listen to Window to the Magic. I would listen to Nostalgia. I would listen to like all sorts of stuff. And I would think to myself, I can do this. I know how to talk. And I needed an outlet for my creativity. I felt that at the time, the work that I was doing was just to pay the bills. I didn't feel like I was doing anything creative. I wanted to be an animator or Pixar, and I was a far stretch away from doing that at the time. And so I figured, like, maybe we could do something creative. Maybe I could put together some like cool videos or something, or maybe I could do a podcast, right? And at the time I was also a really big fan of Twit, which is This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte. And his videos were the ones that were originally like, well, maybe I could do the video thing on YouTube. And I could never get out of my own head to do videos on my own, like for YouTube. And so I thought maybe I could just hide behind the microphone, right? Like I have a face for audio. I think that'll work. And I convinced my brother and Javier at the time to help me out with this. They were a little reluctant at first. They're like, yeah, but we're not like the biggest Disney fans. But for the three of us, it just became this cool weekly thing where we could just hang out and have a couple of beers and just talk about whatever. It was more Disney inclined, but we kind of just talked about whatever we wanted. It was just three guys just kind of shooting the breeze, right?
Right.
And it helped me feel like I was doing something creative again. And it helped me, it helped my love of Disney increase, because right around that time was also when I had discovered like doombuggies.com, and I had discovered like all these things about like Jeff Baham's book on the Haunted Mansion. And that was really like my door into Imagineering. Like after that, I was just awestruck by the stuff that I was reading in these books, and I started jumping more into the forums and started jumping into there was a lot of drama in the forums before. I shouldn't say before, because like now
before,
it's like tenfold, right? Yeah, exactly. Then, and listen, I will just briefly say about the Disney community, it's a wonderful community, but damn, there's a lot of drama sometimes. So I've really tried over the last 10 years to try to be as respectful as possible and try to stay as drama free as possible. I have enough stuff going on in my life to have to deal with drama too. So, you know, that's kind of how I live now. And yeah, it was a really great way just to be creative and to do something that I loved, to hang out with people that I loved. And here we are, 10 years later, doing the same thing minus the beer. So now we got bottles of water. Sponsor us, water.
Water. Thanks, water.
Sponsor us, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper coconut.
Delicious.
Not that pickle pepper, I tell you what.
I haven't tried it. I thought by now I was going to be able to go.
You have to go to
it.
Sonic.
Yeah. I mean, unless I make it here at home, but I don't have the cool Sonic ice. And let's be honest,
you need
the
that
whole
little
thing about
pebble
Sonic
not real.
is the pebble ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not real until you get the pebble ice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
So I've got more. So here
Okay.
I got another one on deck.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you, Jill, for your last video.
Yes, thank you, Jill.
For the
All right, here we go.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know, all of you know, that I'm really thankful for all the hard work that you have put into the podcast from the very beginning. Even as the team has changed a little bit, everyone that's been there has just been great. And it's been a real blast to, hear your takes on Disney, learning about, the theme park news that comes up, talking about different things than other people talk about. You talk about the art, you talk about technology, and a lot of people usually just talk about prices and crowds, right? Anyhow, I just really thankful that that this exists, and thank you especially to Heyzen. I know that you put a lot of hard work into the show, and it's very clear the production quality, the sound of it, the look of it, everything is just really great, and it's a testament to your dedication to putting out a great product. So thank you again, and I guess it's been 10 years. Here's to so many more. All right, thanks, bye.
That was awesome.
Albert. Thank you so much. Albert was one of the very first people that joined the FGP Squad. Yeah. When we first launched the Patreon, again, this is probably a story that some of you have heard, but there was this point where I wasn't sure if the podcast was going to be able to continue. And I'm not the type of person... Actually, the team will attest to this. I'm not the type of person to ask for help. Anybody that knows me knows I am not the type of person to ask for help. I literally have to be on my final breath drowning before I say, help. Mm-hmm. And it pisses a lot of people off. And I am always trying to change that. I honestly, it's one of the things that I've really actively tried to change in the last couple of years. I'm slightly better.
You've gotten better. Give yourself credit.
Yeah. I don't think I'm where people would like me to be, but I've actively tried to change that. So when it came down to starting the Patreon, and I felt weird. I really felt weird asking people for money. And at first, I remember thinking about it as, this is going to be some kind of subscription service. You're going to have to pay for the podcast. And I ultimately decided that I did not want to do that, that I wanted it to be just a voluntary thing. If people wanted to help us out with a few bucks here and there to help us out with the yearly costs of hosting the website and hosting the audio files and whatever it was. Like we've never been at the point with Patreon where like it was paying for my Disney pass or anything like that. Like we essentially had enough, just, I don't want to use the word blessing, but like enough blessings from people to get the production going and keep it running, basically. It got to the point where the yearly costs of running the podcast were coming directly from the FGP Squad. And that I was just thankful for that, because especially those 2 years after we first launched it, it was tough. And if they weren't around to help, I don't think the podcast would have continued, to be honest. So regardless of when people have been a part of the FGP Squad, because there's people that have been members from the very beginning, like Brian and Albert is another one, right? Like, they've both been around for a really long time. But we've had people cycle through. Some people drop off, some people re-sign up after 6 months or whatever, if their financial situation changes. I've gotten messages from people telling me like, I'm so sorry I can't be a member. I was like, listen, you don't have to be sorry about anything. I'm thankful that you were able to help out. If you helped out with 1 month, that means the world to me, because everybody works so hard for their money. The fact that you're even considering giving me any part of what you work so hard to make to help with this thing that we're doing, I'm just so appreciative of that. I'm so thankful for everyone that's ever been a part of the FGP Squad. And for me, regardless of whether they're an active member or not right now, like, to me, everyone's always going to be a part of it. If at any point you gave me any little piece on that Patreon to help keep this running, that, like, to me, you are part of that crew pretty much forever. So thank you to everyone that's been a part of it. And thank you, Albert, also for that video as well.
How about one more? I got one more FGP Squad member here that we'd like to hear from on deck.
All right, let's see.
Hey, Heyzen, I just wanted to say congratulations
Heather.
on 10 years of Podketeers. It's truly amazing to think about the dedication and hard work you've put in to hosting a weekly episode of a podcast for the last 10 years. I first discovered the podcast back in 2018 or 2019 and binged all the episodes available on Spotify at the time, which I think at that time went back to episode 150-something. During my daily commute to work from San Gabriel Valley to Orange County. Fast forward 5 or 6 years, and I'm still listening weekly, as it helps me really deal with that commute on the 57. Your passion for Disney shines through every episode, and it's clear how much you care about sharing that magic with all of us. It's just not about the podcast. Thank you for all the incredible work you do beyond the episodes, from creating those amazing stickers that a lot of us have on our water bottles or on our laptops or whatever, the shirts that you send out to us, and other merch that you've kind of created over the last few years and sent out to us, and including those, doing those happy hours that we did during COVID. I think that really helped a lot of us deal with that situation, and it really helped build a community of people I consider friends. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and passion for Disney with all of us over the last 10 years, and for everything you do to help make this world a little more magical. Here's to a few more to many more years of magic and amazing episodes. Keep up the good work. Congratulations again.
Aww. Awesome.
Heather, thank you so much. Heather has one of the coolest, like, tattoo sleeves, like, ever. I like, me personally, I've gone back and forth on whether I would ever get tattoos. And then when I started to have some of my health issues, I thought, I cannot do that, because they wouldn't have been able to. When your body looks mostly like this, it's hard for them to do any of that artwork. And so I realized, like, I don't think that's ever going to happen for me, right? But Heather has like one of the artists that she's been working with on her tattoos is a gentleman by the name of Ben Ochoa.
Yep.
And he is so good at what he does, especially with his Disney stuff. And the fact that Heather has been able to get some of her artwork done through him, like it's so awesome. Like she's got some really cool pieces, like all over. So if you ever see her in the parks, say hi, and she'll show you her sleeve. She was showing off. I was like scrolling through, I think, Instagram, and it's 626 Day today. We're recording on Stitch Day, and she was showing off her Stitch tattoo on Instagram. So
I think they're all over Discord too. Every time she gets a new one.
Yeah, she's always sharing what she's getting. Yeah, Heather's been awesome. There's not a lot of people. We've had, like I said, we've had a lot of members as part of the FGP squad, and there's been a lot of people that have cycled throughout the years. Like some people will, sign up for whatever amount of time and then they'll leave. Some will sign up, will leave and come back, and some will come back as just a non-paid member so that they could see some of the posts and have access to other things. And Heather has just been so awesome. Like she's been one of those people that has kind of crossed that like friend threshold with a lot of us, and has been so supportive. I very rarely get a chance to watch live because I'm usually either working at work or working on other stuff, but I get an opportunity to watch a lot of like Larry's live streams like the day after, or like a couple days, or on the weekend I'll try to watch like a couple of his streams. And Heather has just been so supportive, like even of like Larry and the goofballs, right? Like she's in the chats, like she's so active. She's active on Discord. Like she has been such an awesome member of the community, and I just want to say thank you, Heather, for just being a huge part of our community, and being a part of the Podketeers family. So thank you. Do you have another one? Or
maybe I think now is probably a good time to thank the FGP squad while we're at since we talked about the FGP
definitely
squad.
That is actually a great thing. So I'm like speechless right now. So the FGP squad, we've been talking about them. Everybody that you've seen on video is a member of the FGP squad. The FGP squad is actually our podcast Fairy Godparents, and at some point along the way they hashtagged FGP squad because it was a less amount of letters than hashtagging podcast Fairy Godparents. And the FGP squad is a very special group of listeners that help us out with a monthly contribution via Patreon. And if you are interested in learning more about the FGP squad and becoming a member of the FGP squad family, we invite you to go to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a list of some of our top contributors, a link to our Patreon, a little information on what the FGP squad is and what it's all about. But being a part of the FGP Squad family gets you some additional perks, like access to additional content that we've uploaded to Patreon, access to the happy hour calls that Heather was talking about when we get an opportunity to do those, discount codes for new Podketeers gear, random giveaways, and more. So again, more information can be found at podketeers.com/FGP. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. Also, I do want to remind you that podketeers.com/links is the place you want to go whenever you're looking for some of our most requested links. On this page, you'll find our latest episode, a link to the Quizneyland playlist, information on anything that we're currently fundraising for with Teamboat Willie. You will also find a link to the FGP Squad on that page, but you'll also find a link to our Discord channel. You will also find links to our YouTube channel and Larry's YouTube channel, Goofy Guys Adventures. If you like to watch live streams from the parks, Larry is a great person to follow. He goes live a couple times a week. And we also have a link to our Armchair Imagineering playlist as well. So if you're interested, again, podketeers.com/links. And if you have any questions, again, just please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right. What's next? I guess you're driving right now.
I guess we're driving. I don't know. Why don't we... hear from. So hey, we'll do this now. Why don't you grab this? There's a box. There's a mystery. There's a mystery box that you've been sent in the mail. Well, actually, I sent it to your wife, so you didn't get suspicious.
It was Mission Impossible.
So you don't want to open it yet, but have it at the, or at least is it yeah, it's a make it unsealed, but don't look in it yet. Is it unsealed already? I don't know.
No, it's totally sealed. Like,
okay, unseal it. Amazon package.
But will the box reveal what it is?
Well, just
I feel the box in it.
Have it at the ready. I'm just saying, open it.
Okay.
And then, because I'm going to have you open it during this next video.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to have this next video. Here we go. That one. And if you want to play the video, and then you can also open your package once the video is playing.
Good evening. My name is Gavin.
Hey.
And on behalf of everybody at the Podketeers podcast, I'd like to say thank you for this 10-year anniversary award. I've worked very hard, and I'm glad to know that hard work has paid off in such an incredible and meaningful... What's that? Heyzen? Heyzen. There's a Heyzen that works on this podcast. And I'm not getting an award. All right, no, it's good. It's all good. It's all good. Congratulations, Heyzen.
Oh, that was cool.
In all seriousness, Heyzen, you are the man. I can't believe you've reached 10 years with Podketeers. It's an incredible accomplishment, an incredible feat, and you've built an amazing family around you of Podketeer co-hosts, both past and present, and I'm sure probably future, because I can't imagine a world without the Podketeers. Thanks for being the most magical Podketeer of all, and for bringing a little joy to our lives every single week. I love you, man.
Oh, Gavin, that was awesome.
Oh, Gavin. Gavin, I remember Gavin was also a listener and, member of the FGP Squad. And, he's one of those people that crossed that friend threshold. And the more we were talking and the more we hung out whenever he would come into town, because he lived out of state. And so every time he would come into town, he would ask me, are you going to be in the parks? And this was around the time where we were pretty much going to the park Saturday and Sunday on a weekly basis, right? So he would always ask me, I'm going to be there. And so it was great because there was a lot of milestones, a lot of really fun times. Hatbox Ghost Day was one of those days where you got to ride with Gavin, and experience the Hatbox Ghost for the first time. And, we just became such good friends that when it was time to move on after when Javier first left and we were looking for another host, and then after when my brother left and we were still looking for a new host, I was lucky enough to have people answer that call. Mel, you were one of those people. Gavin was one of those people as well. And I again, it was one of those moments where I had to decide, are we going to continue this, or are we just, are we done, with the podcast? And thankfully, we were able to continue, and it was through the generosity of, other hosts, Gavin, coming on here on a weekly basis, all of you, AJ and VJ coming on here on a weekly basis. And I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without any of you, especially for this long, because it's hard to find other people that you can just randomly geek out about stuff like this without being labeled a Disney adult in the negative connotation, right? And so, we say it, and it's yeah, I'm a Disney adult, but it's never negative to us. Right. It's how the media has spun the term to be this negative thing. And I've just been so fortunate to have been able to share my time on a weekly basis with so many people that are passionate about this. And, Gavin was one of those people. And it's funny that he mentions that he's not getting an award, because I have something to say at the end of this podcast that I think is going to change that.
Well, did you open your package? You're
no.
supposed to open. Okay, open the package.
Okay, open the package.
You're supposed to open it during the video, but after the video is fine too.
Aww.
It's okay.
Aww.
Open the box.
Hold on.
So Gavin was trying to take your award, but
That's
here it is
awesome.
in all its glory.
Have a
Heyzen's 10-year award.
That is awesome.
The golden microphone for 10 years of continued service.
I love this.
Gavin tried to steal it from you, but
Loud and clear.
Hello. It's not plugged in.
It's not
Hello.
plugged
Wireless.
in.
Hello. Bart's friend Millhouse. This is awesome. Thank you.
There's your award that Gavin tried to steal. There you go. There's your 10-year award.
Aww.
Now, I think it's probably a good time for... I have one more video, but I think it's probably a good time for any of us, Larry, Melissa, or myself, if you want to say any words on the 10 years of Podketeers and or Heyzen's contributions to your life in general.
I feel like this is one of those, like, I feel like this is your life.
Well,
Thank you. Like, goodbye.
Funny, I laugh at that. This is routine now. Like, this is routine in my life. Like, Heyzen knows if I have to, when I had to, like, miss out, I would feel bad. Like, behind the scenes, I'd be like, I'm letting the team down. Like, I feel horrible. But, things happen and stuff. But, yeah, like, this has been my life. Like, I want to keep doing this. I want to do this because we get to, like, have fun and talk and geek out, and then behind the scenes just have fun and let some stuff out, rant. So thank you for that.
It's a lot of that goes on.
There's a lot of that. But doing this has been really cool because it's opened up a lot of opportunities too. And just the way of networking and way of meeting friends, getting comfortable in front of the camera, finally, I wouldn't have done that without Podketeers, because 10 years ago or so, let's say 11, you wouldn't have seen me on a podcast. There's no way. I was shy and stuff. There's no way. But this has become just magical in itself. So I'm honored to be part of this. And I was telling Heather and Jill, I'm like, we're going to record tomorrow. And I'm like, tomorrow's the 10th anniversary. I'm like, dang, like, it just felt different. It felt special. It felt weird because it's just, you don't think about stuff like that. Like, it just happens. Like, it's here.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, it's really, really cool. Like, we're still here standing and doing our thing after, like, so much boo-boo that happened. That's the best way I could describe it right there. There's my whole 2 cents.
That's the best PG, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I personally, Mel, I'm just so proud of you because you have, like, you've just come out of your shell in such a way that it's even reflected in the art that you create. Like, it's just, like, everything about, like, you as an artist is totally different. Like, you're the first one to defend art and artists, and you're the first one to be on the front lines when, I almost cursed right now, when things are going bad for people and, like, yeah, exactly, yeah. This was gonna be one of those, like, like Mickey, like,
yes,
like moments where we had to, like, bleep it, right? And I'm just, I thank you for giving me any type of credit. That's all you. You know, all I did was ask, you know, my friend to be on a podcast, and you took care of the rest. You know, and I just want to say I'm proud of, you know, having you on the podcast. I'm proud of being your friend and the artist and person that you've become. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
exactly.
family.
Yeah.
No friends.
So, yeah.
Well, for me, Heyzen, I mean, it's pretty clear. Like, well, my life changed a lot from being here on Podketeers from what I was originally. Like, when I first started listening, I still remember when I was through Melissa mostly of what I heard of Podketeers. We were friends, and they're like, check out this podcast. And it's interesting because I was thinking about this question today because I knew what was coming up. And every time I've had like Podketeers in my life, like something has changed dramatically. So I always mark it. So like, remember listening through episodes like 1 through 10, and I had just, at the time, I was wrapping up school and trying to go into a professional career, and I was struggling because the job I had I really didn't like, and I just kept listening to Podketeers when I was like, you're talking about how everyone's like commuting. I was just working. Like, I had a job that I really didn't have to focus on. I was cleaning really dorms and stuff like that. So I was not in the right like mindset, but this got me through, honestly, like to realize like Disney magic and what I was doing can continue, right? Like someone else is doing this creatively. It kept that door open. And then I got through it, and then I moved out here in 18, and I know I had like a little bit, you talk about people go and come back, and then in 18 through 19 it was like a huge transition for me out here. I realized I needed more Disney even though I was here. And I remember listening to all the Armchair Imagineering episodes like back to back to back to back, just because I had listened to some of them already, but I re-listened them again. And you were talking about earlier, like if one's sticking your head, and I always remember at the time I did that because you guys were coming out with the Haunted Mansion ones. I knew how much passion you had for Haunted Mansion. And I mean, it wasn't both you and Melissa. It's all shared. And, you know, at the time, Gavin, you guys, y'all had this shared community on that. And to hear that stuff, it really like inspired my creativity, like you talk about and what Melissa's talked about. Like, man, that is so cool that they're opening the creativity here on that platform to bring that forward. And then post 2021, and then I joined Podketeers. I was offered. I was so thankful because I felt honored. I still to this day feel honored because it led me to this point now where I started Goofy Guys Adventures. Because there's no way. There's just I know I still have you guys on my YouTube because it's not just mine. It's a part of it was Podketeers. Because when I started, I was like, I didn't even feel comfortable like Melissa. I was scared to talk other than a podcast. But then I realized, hey, if I could do it with Heyzen and see what kind of dedication Heyzen puts into things and what kind of ethic he has, I could find a way to make this a community, a real community. And that's one thing you guys need to realize, like these videos you're seeing, like with Heather and stuff, she has joined big time into Goofy Guys, but also we have people like Jill that show up. You guys cross-pollinate basically with us, and we love it because Heyzen's always had a community. No matter the size, it's a real community. And I think some people, especially in the content I do now, really forget about that. And Heyzen's you've never forgot about the community. I think almost every action or idea comes from, how do you think the community will like this? How do you think the FGP squad will like this? And that's like right there in that point, I go, that's when like you're doing the right thing to keep you going for something like 10 years. So thank you for inspiring that in me and where we're at. So I appreciate that, man.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. When we were looking for another member of the podcast, I remember Mel bringing up your name. I remember like talking to you, and at the time you were doing like baseball audio clips and like a baseball podcast, right, and stuff, and that was great because I felt like he already has some experience. It'll be easy for him to kind of like transition, and as a Disney fan, yeah, we're just gonna be geeking out as like Disney fans. So I think it'll be like a good like transition. And I remember along the way you started sharing about some of the stuff that you wanted to do and starting the YouTube channel. And looking back, man, I like talk about being proud of I thank you for, giving me some of that credit. But again, that's all you, man. That you and Rebecca just grinding on a weekly basis and the work that you put into it. I'm just like, your videos have grown so much over the past year and a half, like from what they were to this extravaganza of prizes and everything that you do when you're streaming. Like it was always something that I wanted to do, and for various reasons I couldn't, and especially the last couple of years, they've just been so difficult for me to do anything like that. But I get to live through you doing it, right? Like, I watch your videos and I watch you doing it, and I watch the chat and the joy that you're bringing to people. I'm like, that's it right there. Mm-hmm. Like, he got it. Like, the community that you've built isn't there. There's a lot to talk about drama. Here we go. Ready? There are a lot of streamers, especially on other platforms, that don't do Disney content because they enjoy Disney, mm-hmm. or because they know that they have something that they just want to have fun with, and they can happen to pivot it into something. A lot of those content creators are in it because they want people to give them the crowns or the galaxies or the whatever on whatever platform they're on, and they're just in it to make money. They're in it to try to cannibalize the audience that others have tried to build, mm-hmm. to try to do something positive. And ultimately that's them. I'm not going to sit here and criticize them. I think everybody enjoys watching certain creators for whatever reason. I am not here to criticize anybody for watching any creator. If you enjoy a creator, it's because there was obviously something that connected, with you about that creator or those creators. And again, the community that you've built with the goofballs is a reflection of that positivity that you and Rebecca bring to your videos, and that fun, that aspect of just enjoy your day, and leave that drama behind. Don't bring that into our chat. Just have fun.
Right.
Be here with us, right? And my inability to go to the park has been primarily pacified through watching a lot of your videos and enjoying the videos that you put out. So as much as, you want to thank me for it, I, thank you for allowing me to still have a piece of the park, even though I haven't been able to really enjoy it in person. So thank you as well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So.
Andrew, I didn't prepare anything. I was working on all these videos, so I didn't write anything out. So this is going to be off the cuff. But really, I sort of feel bad. I don't feel bad, but I never listened to Podketeers before I was asked to be on this show.
It's okay.
I know it's okay, but it's, everybody has such a good connection, and they're like, oh, the show did so much for me and stuff. And since I've joined, it's done so much for me. And this from the bottom of my heart, it has. But, everybody as a listener, it is great. And it kind of makes me, I feel like, mentally, I don't actually feel this way, but it's like, oh, there's just it's like, all right, all these people, and they've been, listening and talking to each other, and then there's this other guy, and Andrew's there, and whatever. No. And so it's, it was, Melissa, I've known Melissa for quite a long time, and then forever, and then I've known Larry for quite a long time too, and it was just sort of serendipity that it all worked out the way it did. Originally, Heyzen had, I'm assuming Melissa had told Heyzen about how I'm I guess anal retentive I am with facts and stuff.
No.
and was like, hey, would you want to start your own show on with Podketeers? And I was like, that would be cool. I like trivia and stuff. So maybe it could be something like a trivia show or history. And I don't know. But that's kind of how this all started, was, you know, trying to grow Podketeers from more than it was. And then they're like, oh, and if you want to, you know, join the show, you know, and host, I was like, oh, that sounds like fun too. And so it was a lot of planning and all this stuff with, you know, what is now Quizneyland. You know, I joined the show, Larry and I joined the same time, and Quizneyland was still in its infancy, and I think it was almost a year of being on the show before Quizneyland even happened. And Quizneyland will be celebrating its 3 years in November. So that it's kind of crazy over there, but nonetheless, I've had such a grand time being on this show. It really has, you know, you talk about, you know, Melissa being shy and everything. And I have a theater degree, and I've been required to take acting classes and perform. And it's really not my thing. I like being silly, and but mostly just in front of the people I know. And what's nice about this is, you know, Heyzen and Melissa and everybody, it's such a comfortable environment to be in, to be here, and you know, it's so welcoming, and I'm sure that comes off to the listeners too, that this place, the Podketeers podcast, and, you know, the community around it, like Larry said, is a welcoming place. And it's like it's a nice place to be. And, you know, Melissa brought up, like, this is routine. It's like, yeah, this is my routine now, is, you know, we record and this, and I wouldn't want it any other way. It's been such a great outlet. I'm sure, you know, my wife doesn't have to listen to me blabber on about a bunch of facts that I read on the internet, and
Tina.
You know, yeah, about, you know, Roger Rabbit all the time. I can get that all out here, and it's great, and I don't have to, you know, annoy a bunch of other people at work or wherever about it. I mean, I still do, but probably not as much if I didn't have Podketeers. And so it's really a testament to what you've done here over these 10 years. And, you know, not just for us, but I mean, you know, I'm sure people that listen know Heyzen's a dad, and you know, just by, if you listen and you know what everything that Heyzen does for this podcast, he is setting such a good example for his kids. He's got such determination,
100%.
Creativity, you know, kindness, everything that anybody, you know, could want in a human being. He's passing that on to his kids. And, you know, those two kids are going to be great pillars of the community in the future because of how you know, treat people and how you're giving your philosophy over to them. And that comes out in the podcast too. So it's really like, I'm not trying to be like super sappy, but Heyzen is really, he's the backbone of this podcast. And if Heyzen, you know, we've all tried to take stuff off Heyzen's plate, and it never happens. Nope. And it's fine. You know, what can we do? Heyzen wants to do it, and I understand, and we're very thankful, because then, you know, I don't have to do it, and I mean, I have to edit my Quizneyland and whatever, and Larry's got his whole thing, and Melissa's got so much art stuff to do. Everybody's got their stuff, but we would be happy to do it. But the product that you put out, such a quality, as mentioned in all these videos, is up there with every other professional podcast that's out there that has sponsors and this and that, and a studio where everybody's sitting around a table and they have a producer that's checking the levels. You know, all of that is in this podcast, and that's thanks to Heyzen. Yep. And so I didn't really, you know, I should have prepared what I was going to say, because I'm do my thing where I start repeating myself and rambling on.
You're doing good.
But I'll end it there and just say thank you, Heyzen, for everything you have ever done. And it's really a testament to the person that you are, that is made the podcast what it is. So thank you.
Well, thank you. That's so many kind things. You know, Andrew, when Melissa first recommended you as to be, a member of the network that we were trying to expand when Quizzingland first came up, and then to bring you onto the podcast. I remember meeting you, know, and I remember talking to you, and I remember just connecting with Andrew in a way that I don't know if he felt it, and it's fine if you didn't, but
I don't even know if I remember this meeting, honestly, which is
the first time I met you, you were one of the only were one of the only people that matched my energy up here, like 100%. And I've always tended to have a really big personality, and seeing you there and just being so silly and having fun and just matching that energy, I was like, I love this dude. I need to be friends with this guy. And I'm so thankful that when the opportunity came up to work with you, that Mel basically just volunteered you for it.
And you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah, it's been one of the best experiences because we get to geek out, not just on Disney stuff, your knowledge of so many things. There's so many random things that we geek out on, and we could be on one subject when all of a sudden it's ooh, and the cream of the crop. Yeah. Right? It just from one, exactly, from one thing to another. And your talent to come up with these voices and silly jingles, and the way that you express yourself is just something that I admire so much about you. And I feel so fortunate that you've been a part of this, and I'm thankful that you're here. And you've all been just so kind, talking about me, but honestly, I couldn't do this without any of you. Like I said, I feel in the last 10 years, the last 5 especially, I feel I've learned a lot about myself as a person. I actively try to be a better person because I do have 2 kids that I want to be good members of society at some point. And I know that the things that we do online and the things that we say and, how we act are a reflection of that. And, teaching kids media literacy in an age where everything is so internet inclined is hard sometimes. And the one thing I tell my kids is, sometimes you just have to be careful because what you put on the internet can live forever.
Right.
And have I made mistakes over the years? Absolutely. Are there things that I would have done differently? 100%. Are just scenarios that I would have tried to handle differently? Yeah, of course. But that's all part of growing. Right. And if you're not trying to grow or you're not actively trying to just level up, what are you doing? That's kind of how I feel now, right? And so I feel a lot of the things that I feel I would have changed before, a lot of it just has to do with what I've learned about myself and, who I was as a person, why I was like that as a person, who I want to be as a person going forward, and the type of person I want to be, the type of role model I want to be for my kids. And I have all of you to thank for that, because each one of you, and not just the 3 of you, but everyone from my brother to Javier to Gavin, AJ, and VJ, each one of them, in conversations, I've learned something about myself that has helped me hopefully become a better person, for myself and for other people. And so that's something that I feel I can just never repay, right? And I'm thankful for all of you for being a part of this.
So Melissa brought up that I had, it was at Galaxy's Edge. So I went, and I'm sharing my screen now, Heyzen, that you can see Here is the photo. Look at there. There's Heyzen.
All of us.
There's Rebecca with a mouthful of Ronto wrap.
Yeah.
There's Larry. There's me. There's my wife Tina, and there's Melissa and Jill. And so this was the day. Was it the day or the day after? The day I proposed to my wife.
This
is also the day I met Heyzen.
Yep.
So there's the photo to prove. There it is.
That's
right in front of the Millennium Falcon. So look at that. That was a while ago. Look at that.
Crazy.
Yep.
So there you go. Now I have one last video. I'm going to click the stop Sherry button if you want to zoom us. There we go. I have one last video here to... I hit the wrong button. Secret! I'm not on the camera anymore. I hit the wrong button.
I'm the video.
I'm the video.
Right?
So this video has titled himself as Podketeers Legend. So if you wanted to hear something from a Podketeers legend, here's our last video here.
Hey, I know him.
What's going on, you guys? It's Mario, Podketeers co-host for years 1 through 3. I just wanted to jump in here and wish the Podketeers a happy 10th anniversary. You know, going back to 2014, I mean, I remember Podketeers being nothing more than a Yeti mic on a poker table and 3 guys just hanging out with some beers, just talking and making sure our voice levels were going to be okay for the editing because we were all sharing one mic. 10 years later, and look at the advancements, just all the platforms the Podketeers are on, all the methods in which they're engaging with listeners. It's so surreal, you know, because before it was really just, we didn't think anyone was going to be listening. We were just hanging out, you know, making ice cream or discussing which ride was better, the Pirates of the Caribbean or the Haunted Mansion. It's Pirates, by the way. Which Avenger was better, Iron Man or Captain America? It's Captain America, by the way. And just to know that it's 10 years later, it's unreal, you know. I guess in a way you can kind of say that Podketeers is a place where age can relive fond memories of the past, and where youth can savor the promise and challenge of the future. Where have I heard that before? No, doesn't matter. Mel, Andrew, Heyzen, congratulations on 10 years of Podketeers, and keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing amazing. Keep entertaining the world. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.
Aww. That was awesome.
I know him from family.
He looks familiar.
That was... Yeah,
that was a legend.
Right? Okay, so
he titled his video Mario Podketeers Legend.
As he should, yes.
It's funny that he did that because remember I told you about the award earlier?
Gavin's award he tried to give himself.
Yeah, so the award Gavin tried to steal from me. Right. 1, 2. Is this on? I've been thinking a lot about the 10 years of the podcast, and every couple of years, D23 does a little something called the Disney Legend Award. Mm-hmm. And I figured, you know what, after 10 years, there's a legacy that Podketeers is leaving behind. And I think that we are far enough removed from some of the hosts that I think it's about time we have a Podketeers Legend Award. Yeah. And I don't know what it's going to look like yet. That's still kind of in the sketch pad in my brain. Mm-hmm. But there is obviously a legacy in what we've built. And in 10 years, they don't know about this, obviously. At some point, I would love to have an actual trophy built to hand to them. But I will officially say right now that I am inducting Javier and Mario as the first people to be Podketeers legends for the Podketeers podcast. And I don't know what the frequency will be. Maybe 2 years like D23, maybe every 5th year, because we don't have as many hosts and people that have been a part of the podcast.
I think we should do a ceremony where we'll induct other people that we just think are I
think I'm gonna start inducting FGP Squad members at one point.
Yes.
I'm just gonna start inducting people I talk about a lot.
Welcome, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
The latest Podketeers legend.
I mean,
Water.
why not? Bacon.
Right?
Hey, we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. We could. But I did...
In the category of food.
I did want to honor the legacy of the podcast and where we started. Again, I wish I had an actual physical award to hand to them at some point, but I don't. At least not yet.
Well, when that happens, we can then make a whole episode about it.
But it is something that's been on my mind, and I may have mentioned it to my brother at some point, which is why he joked about that.
Oh.
But hey, now it's official. He can claim the title and actually be considered a Podketeers legend. So at some point, I'll reveal a design, a shirt, a trophy or something. I don't know. But that's coming.
He's going to work on this tonight because he's not going to sleep, and he's going to go on his computer and start working on it tonight.
No, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
Close enough.
But we'll see. I was trying to find that image that we had of the Yeti microphone on that table. I drove them so crazy at the beginning. I'll tell you one more story before we wrap up. When we first started, I was unsure of, what we were doing. As excited as I was, obviously I didn't know what I was doing. I had some production knowledge, but audio is a whole different beast. Like, video and audio are so different to work with, and they're so nuanced. When you're trying to put stuff together. And as we were approaching, like, we gave ourselves a deadline, and I remember submitting all the stuff to be on iTunes at the time, and to be like on Google, and that's really the only places we were able to go at the beginning. And I remember getting the approval, and we were so psyched about it. And I had this idea, which now I think back on it, and it's so stupid. And I'm just thankful that both of them were kind enough to indulge me and not run away from the project. But I had this idea of the negatives, right? Where we counted down to episode 1, starting at -3. And so I wanted to record a few episodes that were never going to get released. They were just our way of practicing, like, talking into the mic. How far were we going to be from the microphone? All the technical stuff to kind of hammer it down so that we kind of had a head start by the time we published episode 1. And I remember both my brother and Javier, like, just sitting down and telling me, like, dude, that's stupid. that's dumb. Like, why? Just do it already. Just hit record. And I was so scared to start. And I remember they both pushed me into just hitting record. And those first couple of episodes they're rough, man. But I learned a lot from editing those first 2 episodes. And it was like 2 episodes in where I'm like, this Yeti thing is done. I'm buying you guys XLR microphones. And then we sat around the table with XLR mics. And, every time I had an opportunity, we would upgrade equipment. And it just kept getting better and better and better throughout, the years. And here we are, and now we're on YouTube finally.
Hey, look at that.
So, yeah, it's... again, there's so many things that I would have done different that, thankfully I hope that throughout the time that we've been doing this, you all know me well enough. I know for a fact that on the side, you've all at one point or another have helped keep me on check to do things a certain way, or to keep track of things, or, make sure things are getting done. And I hope that you're all comfortable enough share that stuff with me and be open with me when something's wrong. And I feel like that's the type of, like, I've never wanted anyone to feel like they were obligated to do this. I've always wanted everybody to feel like they hopefully wanted to do this because they just wanted to sit down and have fun and like just talk for a little bit, right? And we just happen to be recording it and sharing it with the world. And right. I hope that's the environment that we've harbored, and I hope that that's the environment and the feeling that everyone has come away with being a part of this at some point in their life. And yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to continue doing this. I hope 10 years from now we're like, yeah, now we have like 30 Disney legends and like, you know what I mean? Or Disneyland Podketeers legends. I'm already stealing the awards. I'm just going to take one from the Honda Center later this year and we'll just 3D scan it and make our own.
There it is. There we go.
So yeah, I just thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that's been listening from the beginning. Thank you to everyone that's contributed to the podcast, whether it was through Patreon or through your comments or through our interactions in the park. I want you to know, I've cherished every little bit of that. I consider myself very fortunate that after all these years, people actually still care.
We've had folks donate for giveaways, for fundraisers,
yes.
people that have donated to our
that
fundraising campaigns, all that stuff. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to say, I was only able to reach out to so many people because, I'm new here, and so I don't have contacts for all the people. So I'm sorry to all the folks that if you wanted to send a nice video to this and I didn't reach out, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to get a hold of you. So this was a super secret project and I couldn't go, Heyzen, how do I get a hold of this person
hard.
and this person and this person?
Hard.
So
I appreciate it.
So I just want to put that out there to anybody listening. If you want to send a video still, go right ahead, send it on in.
Yeah.
You can send it to Quiznyland@podketeers.com. That goes directly to me, and Heyzen can't see it if you want it to be a surprise. Or you can send it to whatever, Heyzen@podketeers.com. I don't know what the email is.
Yeah, it's
info@podketeers.com.
It's Heyzen@Podketeers.
Heyzen@podketeers.com if you want to go straight to him. Or you can message me on Instagram, and I have a Google Drive folder that is called Mission Surprise Heyzen, that we can upload that to there too. So that's where all these videos are stored. So we might get some throughout the next couple of weeks, and maybe we'll put them on through. If anybody wants to say something nice about the 10th year, like Heyzen said, we're gonna be celebrating for a whole year. Yeah. So you got a whole year to share. If you want to send something in, let us know, because we want to hear from you. Because the listeners is what keeps us going, right?
Exactly.
Like that's the whole. We do it for you. I mean, we do it for us because it's fun for us, but we do it for you.
Us and you.
Little column A, little column B.
Right.
Little column A, little column B. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, you guys. That I wasn't expecting any of this. That's probably why it was
called Mission Surprise Heyzen. Heyzen,
Yep.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Heyzen goes, okay, so we're starting to talk, okay, so today we got, there's this thing, and maybe we could talk about something about Genie Plus, and da-da-da-da-da, and maybe we have, I haven't watched that thing yet, so he's like, it might be a short episode, da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, we're thinking in our heads, so you wait there, buddy boy.
And then Andrew and I were texting each other, and then at the same time, I'm texting Lynette. Thank you, Lynette, for helping us out.
Oh, there you go.
Just trying to get
shout out to the
out
background podketeer, Lynette.
the queen.
The family.
for putting up with me doing this really for 10 years. I mean, she's been so supportive this whole time. I should have said that earlier, but I mean, she's the reason I've usually don't have the kids bothering me when I'm recording because she's wrangling them in the background and everything. And
not that bad.
Especially at the beginning when we were going to the parks and everything and putting together like the breakfast and all those things. Like she always would help put all that stuff together too. So yeah, a lot of this, wouldn't be really like a lot of it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her, because if she wasn't there to pick up where I was falling short, and getting things done, like we wouldn't be here. So a big thank you to my wife as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I think that's yeah, and I didn't cry. Cool.
No,
I was really when you were talking about these. That's what I thought. I thought we were gonna Sarah McLachlan this thing, and I was gonna be like, oh no, the goats.
Right?
Slow motion goats running for the last time from Big Thunder or something. I don't know what was gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. All right. Well, thank you all. I don't know what to say anymore. I think I am just gonna have to wrap it up before I do get overly emotional. So,
Cry.
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. But
Wrap it
thank you all. I'm just so appreciative of everyone that's listened, everyone that's been a part of it, all of our guests. We've had so many amazing people join us throughout the years, former Imagineers. We had, Bob Gurr and Raleigh Crump, and we're just so fortunate to have gotten them. We had Brian Crosby and Josh Shipley, and them talking about their time at Imagineering and the projects that they've worked on. We've had really great guests like Marco Paulos from Fat Cat Swinger has been a part of the podcast, and just the opportunity to talk to so many amazing people outside of the weekly conversations that we've had has just been just an additional benefit, I think, for me and for all of us to have an opportunity to listen. I'm hoping to get back to doing more of that in the future as I progress. And I just bigger and better things, just keep looking forward. So from Beers Cheers to Mickey Ears, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye, and happy 10 years.
Oh, see ya. Happy 10 years.
Adios, feliz ten. I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
Yes.
Yes.
Diaz.
There we
go. I'm sure this is going to sound great.
Yep.